Hey there, happy coders. Happy New Year. Good to see you. I feel like it's been a while. Over the past year, I've focused a lot on teaching rather than doing these videos, so I'm going to try to get back into it. And here we go. So it is January 1st, 2023, and again, Happy New Year. And that means that it's also the start of something called Genuary, which I did not last year, but the year before, and I really loved it. And I'm hoping to get back into it this year. But long story short, January is an event that goes through all of January, and every day in January, you get a different prompt that inspires you to make some kind of like generative art. That's the gen part of January. So recommend checking that out. Go to genuary.art if that sounds like something that's interesting to you. I'll also mention that if you're on social media like Mastodon, if you go to like a January hashtag, then you'll see a bunch of folks doing really cool stuff that like sort of explores sort of generative art through the lens of this January prompt dealy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sort of diving into that community as well. So that'll be a lot of fun, and I recommend that you check it out as well. But without further ado, I'm just going to kind of dive into like today's prompt. So I'm going to go to prompts and look up January 1st. Hey, that's today. Cool. And today's prompt is perfect loop, infinite loop, or endless GIFs. And you can look up examples here. And there's a couple of cool sort of artists that I really like that do these kinds of things. So like Bees and Bombs is one of my go-tos. I don't know if this search is going to work. Yeah, it's this dude, Dave White. Oh my goodness. He does a lot of really cool like endless GIF things. So I thought maybe I would try to do something like that, but his get really complicated. They're really cool, but they probably take me all day. And I just want to do something kind of quick and just to get myself like back into the flow of things. So what I'm going to do is what I'm thinking of anyway, is what if I show like a loop of maybe just two circles kind of orbiting each other, or one circle is orbiting the other circle. So, whatever, you get it. So like maybe that's like the Earth and the Moon. And then I was thinking, how can I kind of dress that up a little bit? And I thought of maybe using emojis somehow. And that's honestly about as far as I got so far. So let's just start, see where it takes us. So I'm going to start by going to the P5 editor here, which gives me my code editor here on the left, and on the right I have my canvas. I can maybe I'll start by making that a little bigger. We can play with the sizes later, but 500 by 500 seems okay. And to get started, what I want to do is first draw like a circle in the middle, and then I want to draw like another circle sort of orbiting it. So I'm going to just call the circle function, and I think I can probably get away with just doing width over 2, height over 2, and then some size. I might change this later, but for now, I have my beautiful circle. And then next, what I need to do is draw another circle that orbits it. And this is going to get into like some trigonometry, and that's okay. But what that means is I need to maybe have like an angle. So let angle equals, I'll start it at 0 and see what that does. I think it'll be all the way to the right, but we'll check in a second. And then maybe I'll have like distance equals some number. I can change these in a second, but I just want to get something working. And so what this means is I can use this angle and this distance to get another point, and then I can change the angle over time so that that point changes over time. So I'm going to say like let, I don't know, I'll just call it moon x for now, equals, and what is this going to be? This is going to be width over 2 plus cosine of angle times distance, I think. I realize that like I do some of this like kind of by muscle memory almost. I've done this kind of sketch so many times that like I don't really have to think too hard about like cosine or sine. It just kind of comes out of my brain. But I also realize that like I can't explain it very well. So I think I have a kind of a to-do list to come back and maybe write a tutorial on why these numbers make sense, or why this calculation makes sense. But for now, I'm just going to use it, and hopefully it works, and we'll see in a second. So I'm going to draw another circle, this time at moon x, moon y, and maybe I'll give this one a size of like 50, so it's smaller. And let's just see if this works so far. And it does. Okay, like I kind of expected, my moon is all the way to the right because my angle starts out at 0. So just to test this out, let's say my angle is like, I don't know, 45. Let's see what that does. And cool, now my angle is sort of down here at a 45-degree angle. That actually, I kind of didn't expect it to work that way. Let's see what 90 does. Okay, yeah, so the reason that I didn't expect it to work, I think that was just a coincidence. It was at 45 degrees, but it's because this is in degrees and this takes radians. So I think I need to convert to radians first. The other way to do this would be to just use radians here, but I think I want this in degrees so that I can kind of think about it in those terms rather than thinking about it in like pi/2 terms. And as always, I'm going to fight with p5's formatting, but that's okay. Let's run this, and now it does show up at 90 when I expect it to, and this should still work. 45, cool. And if I do like 180, it should be all the way to the left. And it does. All right, cool. So I'm going to put this back to 0. And what are you complaining about? You just don't like how I formatted you. And you won't tell me why. That's upsetting. Maybe I'll put it back here and then I'll run the tidy code thing. Oops, tidy code. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love the formatting, but that's okay. I'm not going to obsess over it. Okay, so now that I have this part working, what it means is I can change the angle over time. So I calculate my moon x and my moon y based on the current angle, which means if I change my angle, so maybe I'll just add one for now. I'm going to add one every frame, and now I expect my my moon to sort of orbit, and it does, and that's actually pretty good speed, I think. Cool. I kind of want it to be a little smaller now that I'm looking at it. Like, I think maybe 400 by 400 was a reasonable size, especially on my like sort of zoomed in resolution. Okay, I don't hate that. And maybe I'll change the moon size to like, I don't know, I could change these sizes, Earth size and moon size, but actually maybe I won't spend too much more time worrying about these numbers because I'm about to change these. So yeah, let's do that next. So now I have my moon orbiting my Earth, and that works. And I could end here. I could make a GIF of this, and I could loop it so that like maybe it starts here, and then it loops all the way around, and the GIF would end here, and then it would kind of loop that way because the end and the beginning are the same. But yeah, I kind of want to play around with the idea of the emoji thing that I had in my brain. So what I want to do, I want to first off look for the text align function. I think that's what I want. Center. We're going to see in a second. And then instead of drawing this circle, or maybe I'll say in addition to drawing this circle, I want to call text, and I want to give it. Actually, let me look up in the reference exactly what this takes, because I always forget. So text here, and it takes what? It takes so it takes a string and then an x and then a y. Okay, and then a width and height, but mine will only be a single character, so that doesn't really do much. And I already forgot what order they're in. So string first. So I'm going to have an earth emoji here, and I'm going to maybe play with the idea of different earths in a second, but for now I'll just choose this middle one, and then I want to give it my center, which is width over 2, height over 2, and now I should expect to see like a little earth emoji in the middle of my circle here. And I do, and that's kind of funny looking, but that's because my text is really tiny, so maybe I should call like text size and give this a number. What does this number represent? Is this points or is this pixels or something? Text size. Pixels. Okay, so text size of, I don't know, let's see what happens if I say 100. Will it be the exact same size as that circle? Honestly, not sure. Give or take. And it's funny, there's like, it's not exactly centered, but that's fine. I don't think I will worry too much about that because in a second I'm going to get rid of this moon. In fact, I'm going to get rid of it right now. And I'm going to say text, and then I'm going to want a moon emoji, moon. And there's all kinds of things I can play with here. So for now, I'm going to do this like cheesy looking moon here. And then I want moon X, moon Y. So I'm going to save that, run it, and now I have my moon. And okay, my moon is really big, and that's because I didn't call text size before I called text again. So text size of, I don't know, what did I have it before? 75? I had it 50, 50, right? So I'm just matching this number here, just keeping it the same size for now. So I'm going to run this. And now, okay, cool. So the center is not exactly the same because of the way text is laid out. I think there's, they draw their lines a little different. And that's fine because now that I have these kind of working, I can get rid of my circles completely. I can say I don't care about that and I don't care about that. That was just to get something working. And now that I have, my math figured out here, I can stick with my beautiful emojis down here. And all right, I've got my moon circling the Earth. Now I need to make it kind of darker, of course, because we're in outer space, and I like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. That sparks a certain amount of joy. I could change these numbers. Maybe I'll put these as values at the top so I can play with them a little bit. Let Earth size equals 100. Let moon size equals 50, so I can play with them a little easier. This is Earth size and this is moon size. Okay, now I can say, maybe I want my Earth to be a little bigger, and I'm going to also say my distance should be maybe 200 instead. And that's too much. Maybe 150 again. Maybe those should be the same, actually. Yeah, maybe Earth size and distance should be the same. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. Maybe 100. Yeah, I don't hate that. And it goes off the screen a little bit, so maybe I'll make it a little smaller. And again, I always get into this trap of just kind of playing with these kind of magic numbers, but it's probably not super exciting to watch, so I'm going to try to cut myself off. Okay, so now it does not touch the ends of the canvas, and it's going around in circles. And okay, cool. So I could stop here. I could say, here's my beautiful emoji, or my beautiful like endless loop where the moon goes around the Earth nonstop, and I could make a GIF out of this and have the GIF start with the moon at the top and end with the moon at the top, so that when it loops, it just keeps going in a circle. But there's one other thing I wanted to play with, and that is right now the Earth always looks the same and the moon always looks the same. And I am thinking, like, what if I play with the idea of there being multiple like rotations? And by that I mean, if I look up moon emojis, there's actually a bunch of moon emojis, and they actually form a kind of animation. So what if I cycle through these? So how would I do this? First, let me maybe I'll just say like let moons equals, and for now I'll just make it be a string. Maybe I'll change this to an array in a second, but I'll just put all of the moon emojis sort of in order, and I'm going to start with a full moon, I think, and then I'm going to go to this yeah, waning gibbous is next, then like a half, quarter I guess they call it, crescent, and then a new moon, I think. I actually like this one where it's not a face. I could go back and forth. We'll see. New moon, and then what's next? I think this one's next, then this one, then this one. Okay, and then we've completed the cycle. So now I have these in a string, and here's what I want to do. Let's see. I want to have an index into this string, and then change that index over time. So I want to say like let moon index equals 0, and then I want to say maybe just for now I'll constantly, so maybe angle plus plus, and maybe I'll always just change the moon index. I'll just say moon index plus plus, and maybe I have to do like if moon index is greater than or equal to moons dot, what is it, length maybe. We're going to check this in a second. Then moon index equals 0, and what do I want to say? I think down here, instead of this moon, I can say maybe moon's moon index. Will this work? I don't know. Let's find out. So what I expect to happen is as my moon orbits the Earth, I expect it to sort of rotate. It's kind of a fake rotation, but the emoji should like substitute in over time. It'll be really fast, which I'm going to fix in a second, but hopefully it works. Or I broke something and it'll break. Let's see. Do you want to take bets? I bet it'll break. What do you think? All right, let's run it. And okay, great. What on earth? I just get this big question mark, which means what? It means that this is not working the way I expected. So maybe I'll print this out. Although I guess what I'm going to get is just like the same symbol. Maybe. We're going to find out. Let moon index equals 0, moon index plus plus. Yeah, I would maybe expect this to work. Let's find out. Oh, so okay, yeah, same symbol. Let's print out just moon index then, see what this gets me. Okay, so moon index is going up to 15, it looks like, and I think now I know what's going on. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then starts over, which is almost what I expect, except I don't expect it to be 15. I expect it to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's roughly twice as big as I want it to be. Actually, I think it ends up being exactly twice as big. And that's because I bet that these emojis are actually 2 characters. Some emojis are 2 characters. And so I bet if I like, I don't even know how to look this up, honestly. Can I just type this somewhere and say full moon emoji characters? I bet it's 2 characters. I don't know if this will tell me actually. Anyway, I bet it's 2 like Unicode symbols. I don't know if I'm using that term correctly. It's like 2 like characters or 2, something. And printing one of them doesn't make sense. So I think I actually have to change this into an array, and then the array will contain the strings themselves. So sure. And yeah, you're going to complain about none of these being strings. Fine, fine, fine. So bear with me while I make p5 happy. So what I'm doing is converting my string into an array of strings so that now each emoji is captured by a string, and that string can contain multiple characters or multiple Unicode characters or whatever the word is, and that's okay because it's just a string and we don't actually really care what's in the string. We could change this to whatever we wanted really. But okay, now I have moons, and will this just work? Moons, I think this might just work. Let's see. Let's just run it and see what happens. And yeah, ooh, that's trippy. I kind of like that. And so it's working exactly how I expected to, but the animation is really fast. So I want to slow that down. A couple ways I could do that. I could just say like, frame rate, like decrease the entire frame rate and say frame rate of like 10 or something, and that would slow the whole thing down. So now you can see that the animation is a little slower, but now the whole thing is slower. And now I could go back and like maybe I move my angle by more than 1 every time, and I could play with that. But I want to try something else. I want to try something a little different, and I can get rid of one of these console.logs because that's making my computer really sad. Okay, so now I'm back to my fast animation. Cool. Okay, So what I want to do is maybe I'll play with like the modulus operator. I never know if I'm saying that word right, but like JavaScript modulus. Am I spelling that right? Yeah, and this is basically like the remainder operator, and so this will let me like trigger something every so often, every certain amount of frames, or every certain angle. We're going to see. So I'm going to say like if angle mod what some number. I'm just going to put placeholder for now equals 0. So if the remainder is 0, then I do my then I increase my sort of moon frame. So I need to figure out this number. So how many of these are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this is promising. And then 360 is the whole circle, and 360 divided by 8 is what, 40? No, 360 divided by 8 is embarrassing. Divided by 8 is 45, right? Okay. So every 45 degrees, I want to increase my my moon index. Let's see if this works. I think it does. So if I start by paying attention to when the moon is at the rightmost position, it starts out as a full moon, okay, and then it kind of goes through the moon phases, turns into like a new moon, and then goes back through the moon phases to get back to a full moon. I think that's right. Um, I th I think it's going in the right direction. Now I'm worried. Let's see. Moon phase animation. Uh, yeah. So let's say we start out as full, then it wanes, and then yeah, okay. And it starts out like on the right, and I think that's what I have. I think that's what I have, right? Yeah, I think so. If not, you can yell at me and you can change it yourself. But I think that's right. Now, this is not the way the moon orbits the Earth, I don't think, but that's okay. That's all right. We're not upset about that. So this is pretty good. This is pretty close, and I think I might end here. I might be happy with this. But the other thing, the last thing, I always say the last thing, and then I lie and I do 5 more things. But the next thing I want to work through is the same exact idea, but with Earth. So I know that there are a few Earth emojis. So let me just say like let Earths equals, for now started out as a string just to see them. And so it's like focused on different parts of the Earth. And I don't know if there's just one that's like the Pacific Ocean, because like, no, I don't think so. So this might end up looking a little goofy because it's not like the full, picture. But let's see. So like this is like the leftmost view of Earth. Then this is like sort of moved a little to the right, and then this is the rightmost, or I should say like eastmost, I guess. Are there other ones? Let's see. Earth emojis. Oh, so annoying. Just goodness. Okay. Earth emoji. So is there just a list of all of them? Is it only 3, or is there more? That's what I'm trying to look for. I don't know if there's one that's like, more in between or anything. What even is this? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that it's just like the 3 and then like the one sort of like older looking one. But I might be able to get away with maybe just like using like a blue circle or something. Let's just double check. I kind of have a feeling that this isn't going to work very well, and I might end up getting rid of it. But I just want to try. Yeah, it looks like it's 3, so it's like showing different parts of the world. And you can kind of maybe think of it as like rotating, but it kind of doesn't line up the way that the moon does. So my guess is that it's going to end up not looking like like an animation. But let's just try it. So where am I here? So Earths. Let me turn this into an array. Oops. Sure. And now I need my commas, and I think that's right. And then I need like an Earth index. Let Earth index equals 0. And now I need to do basically the exact same thing that I do here. I'm going to just steal this code. I'm going to say if angle, let's say like divided by, I think this one needs to be like 120, because I'm going to split the 360 degrees into 3, equals 0. Then I'm saying Earth index, Earth index, Earth index greater than or equal to Earth's dot length, and then one more Earth index, and then here this needs to be Earth's Earth index, I think. And let's just see what happens. Okay, so I start out showing one sort of version of it. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't hate it. I don't love it though, because like it's not as much of an animation. So it's just like, here's a picture of one part of the Earth. Here's a different picture of a different part of the Earth. It doesn't look like it's spinning to me. And I don't know if there's a way around that. If there were more emojis, like if there was an emoji showing, I don't know, the Atlantic Ocean, then maybe. If there's an emoji showing the Pacific Ocean, I mean, maybe I can get away with this one by having like a blue circle. I don't know if this will work. Blue circle. And then changing this to, what is 360 divided by 4 is 80, 80 something. Pretend I knew that. 90, yeah. No, that makes sense. So yeah, of course it is. Okay, so 90, and now I expect basically the same thing, except I'll have an extra frame in there for the Pacific Ocean, which will just be blue. Let's see if this makes it feel any better. I kind of think no. Mm, yeah, I don't know. I think I could take or leave this, honestly. Could maybe just comment this whole thing out and stick with my original. Maybe I could do something like randomize the Earth on startup, and so you get a different view of the Earth every time. Or I could just, just stick with this for now. Or I could put it back. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave that up to you and say, which do you like more? Do you like the animation or the static Earth, or something else? We could maybe have, instead of Earth, maybe that should be Mars. I do think that I don't like the blue Pacific Ocean, because it ends up looking like the Earth has flooded, and that seems sad. But okay, I think I want to leave it there. I think I'm going to just stick with that. Okay, so from here, a couple things you could do. So I played with the like moon emoji and the earth emoji. There are other emojis out there. So, there's, let's see, if I type in planet, if I type in, I thought there's like one for like Jupiter. Maybe there's not actually. Solar system. Sun. So I do know there's one for the sun. So maybe you could make this a little bit more complicated by having the Earth orbit the sun, and then the moon orbit the Earth. You could play with that. You could also play with, I could have sworn there were other emojis. There's a galaxy, so maybe the sun orbits the galaxy, the Earth orbits the sun, the moon orbits the Earth. Could have sworn there was one for like Mars, or one for like Saturn or something. Yeah, here's one. So it's just a ringed planet. Okay. So you could have other planets in there. You could have stars, maybe. That's kind of tempting to play with stars right now. Maybe I throw in some randomly placed like emoji stars, but for the prompt, for what January's prompt is perfect loop or infinite loop or endless GIF. I think I got close enough. Um, so from here, what I am going to do is like convert this to a GIF, and I'm going to do it like, actually I could play with the save GIF function, but I'm going to save that for another video, I think. But so I'll do that off camera, and then I'll post like the resulting GIF on Mastodon or on happycoding.io, and that'll be my sort of output for January 1st. Okay, so if you had fun with this, I fully encourage you to like take this code and run with it. I'll post a link in the description of this video, or you're probably already on the page for it. And if you do use this code, please feel free to tag me on Mastodon, or better yet, come to the Happy Coding Forum. This is where I tend to hang out, and sign up and say hello and post a link to your code, and I would love to check it out. I love seeing what folks do with this stuff. Or you can always just leave a YouTube comment as well. But yeah, I want to leave it there. There's my January endless loop, and I will try to continue doing these prompts. So maybe I'll see you tomorrow for January 2, made in 10 minutes. Ooh, that's a fun one. All right. So thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your January 1st. Make cool stuff. Make cool stuff that makes cool stuff. And let me know what you come up with. All right, y'all. Have a good one. And as always, of course, happy coding.